You are now listening to the iWalter Show. Real talk about nothing.
Hey folks, it's Walter. It's Friday morning at 2, it's 10 of 3 actually. I'm trying to make this show simple, pretty quick, because I want to watch. I'm actually getting really into Daredevil. I only got like 4 episodes left, and it's gotten very intense. I definitely recommend it. If you don't have Netflix, get it, because it's only like $8 a month for the streaming, so it's not that bad. I would recommend people doing that. Anyway, yeah, you know what? It was kind of funny tonight. I had to start late because, one, I wanted to keep up with the episodes, get it done with, I guess, so to speak. And I was going to the bathroom, and I don't know what it is with this weather change and stuff. It goes up and down. It's been crazy. Tonight coming home, it was like actually dipped below 40 degrees around the Norristown area, so I was kind of shocked. But I'm going in the restroom, my bathroom. Yeah, I'm in a public place at home. I go to the bathroom, and hate to say it, but I felt like I was in that movie Creepshow, because one of the ones that stuck to my mind was this one it was an episode in the original movie which came out, let me see, released in 1982, and it was this episode, one part of the original Creepshow. And it was called, I just had it here too. Oh, it's called They're Creeping Up on You. And it's about this guy who's misophobic. And, he just had a phobia about germs and bacteria. And what ended up happening is he lived in this place that everything was sterilized. And, and he would just spray everything, and it got infested by one bug and then multiple bugs, and then eventually it just had taken over his whole suite or his apartment, and they end up like basically infesting him. So yeah, the guy was very misophobic, and that's how I am kind of, because I have OCD, so it wouldn't surprise me that I would fall in that category. Anyway, I wanted to actually kind of help out. Not that it's going to be much, because nobody actually really listens to my show, so it doesn't help the fact. But a friend who actually released a film in the Pennsylvania area, a guy, you know what? He's on my friends list, and I'm not going to look for his name. I don't see him online. It's Brian. But, just a little bit about me. I grew up with science fiction and horror. When I was a kid, there was a show called Dr. Shock locally. It was on Channel 29 when you used to have the rabbit ears or the antenna on your roof. And I remember when I was a kid, he was at a local bookstore down around Montgomery County Community College. It's still there, the bookstore. And he was doing an I can't say a book signing, but he basically publicly appeared, and to me it was like meeting God, because I looked up to this man for years, because I used to watch all these B horror movies he used to put on, and I used to love him. So it said he died in '79 though. I just remember watching those movies and having a blanket over my head when I was 12 years old, and it used to scare the crap out of me, these B horror movies, black and whites. So, yeah. So anyway, yeah, I mean, I grew up, I watched many different horror films. I remember one time, actually, there was a movie, every year, I loved horror movies, and I love science fiction. So, I had my dad actually take me to some of the worst horror movies, I guess, that were extremely intense or just disturbing. I remember one I actually had my parents, a lot of these I actually was underage, so I was surprised I was actually be able to get any with my parents, because these movies weren't intended for children. In fact, there was one movie called The Children. It actually got picked up by Trauma, and it's now considered a trauma film, which it wasn't at the time, and it's, to my opinion, it's not. But that movie it's not, don't confuse it with Children of the Corn, but that movie was so disturbing to me. To this day, I refuse to, I actually found it online because I couldn't figure out where to buy it at first. And it was like I downloaded it and I watched it, but it was really difficult because it gave me, to this day, it gives me nightmares. It's about these kids on this school bus, and they go past, because it was a big scare. I think that was like actually in the 79 or so, early 80s at least. But it was a big scare about nuclear power plants, because we have cooling towers in Pennsylvania and Limerick, and people always made a big huff about that. So anyway, it watched this movie, and it basically what happened is these kids went past a nuclear cooling tower, actually, and it was leaking like some type of weird substance, and it changed the children only. It only affected these young children, not the bus driver or anybody else. But it turned them into these demonic, crazy demons that the only way you could kill them is by chopping their hands off. And they would make this really weird, this evil, demonic noise when you did that it just goes through you. And I remember it scared me so badly that even when I try to watch it lately, it was like I couldn't watch it. So, yeah, I mean, and it was funny. I had other films I would see when I was a child. I'd get my dad to take me to see. The most timid one was actually King Kong, which I really liked it. The one, it was the first one remade, I guess that was in the 70s. I actually enjoyed that with I think it was I want to say the Sears Towers, but it was actually, I think it was because they, the Freedom Towers. Well, they weren't Freedom Towers then, the Trade Center. And I remember seeing that. That was the most timid type of movie that had a monster in there that wasn't really extreme. But I saw other films. One movie in particular was this movie called Galaxy of Terror. And I remember I had taken my dad had taken me to go see it. And it was so intense that my dad, he's very frugal with money, that he was so bothered by this movie. He said, would you like to get up and go see another movie? He says, I'll pay for you just to get out of this movie theater, because it bothered him so bad. It was like, I basically told him, no, that's all right. I don't mind. I can sit through this. Even though I wasn't watching, because I was so scared. And my dad was even petrified. Now, I saw this movie recently, because I think it is on Netflix and you can rent it. You can buy it. And I'm like looking at it, I was like, why did I think this movie was so great when I was a child? It scared the crap out of me. So anyway, yeah, that one was called Galaxy of Terror. But I'm going to lead up to why I'm talking about all this stuff in a moment. It was funny, actually, in my college days, it was Mina, this one friend, he said, well, he was going to go through all these different types of genres of movies. And when I, was with him, we would get these movies and rent them. He would rent them from this place called the TLA down in Philly. And I think there was one that's no longer there. I think both of them are not there, but the other one was on the main line, and Radnor area and stuff. Actually, it's not in Radnor. I'm just saying that, but it's around that area. But we would rent these movies, and they were really kind of disturbing. One was called Necrophiliac, and this other one was called Bloodsucking Freaks. Now that one got picked up by Trauma. Blood-sucking freaks, and I actually bought it at one point, but I had to get rid of it because it's like one of these things. It was just so intensely disturbing that there was one part of the film that bothered me so bad that we were watching it at my house. Obviously, we brought it back to the house and watched it, but it was so disturbing that I actually got up. I actually told the people from Trauma, but I was going to try to tell it to the main guy. Damn, I can't remember his name, and I actually met him in person. But I basically said to him, you know what? This film, Bloodsucking Freaks, bothered me so bad. It was back when I was in college, and we would just go on these binges of renting really weird horror movies that I actually got up out of my living room, ran to the restroom, and was starting to drive heave because it bothered me that bad. To me, it was that disturbing. It was a wannabe snuff film. And I pray to God that there is no real snuff films, because heaven forbid, I don't want to see anybody getting tortured and killed just for somebody else's amusement. Anyway, speaking about that, a friend of a friend made a film, and he called it AGONi. It is called AGONi. That's AGONi, not spelled like agony would be spelled. And he actually just got this released by a place I think that he wanted to get a job with. It's up in, I think, Pittsburgh area, and it's called Toe Tag. So they picked up his film, and he released it. So the friend of a friend who made this film, Ryan, I'm trying to look for his name, so I apologize. But if you go to, I got to make sure I go to the right section, because it's called beneaththeunderground.com. But you actually, Ryan has it, I apologize for all this lapse of space. But yeah, Ryan's only asking like $12 for his film, so I figure I just kind of, for whoever may be listening, and again, it says it's from Beneath the Underground Film, I guess, production company, but it might be his name, Ryan Vincent Logsdon. I apologize, Ryan, if you actually listen to this show. I apologize for the show being bad, but I apologize for, screwing up your name. I don't mean to. But anyway, Ryan's a really nice guy. He made a horror film. He did it all himself. He got a few people to help him out, which was really nice. And it's if you go to Facebook, though, the link is actually, or the link on there, or the club is called, is called Beneath the Underground. And from there, you can find any information about Ryan's film. And he's not asking that much. I mean, you have to pay through PayPal, which is actually good for many people. But he has a limited edition one. Basically, he's got a little bit more bells and whistles with it, and that one's like $18 minus shipping. And then he's got one for $12. I bought the $12 one, and the friend who's friends with Ryan actually bought the $18 one. I wanted to give the guy a few bucks because anybody who is, trying to do something, because I'm a wannabe film director. I made some stuff. I threw it on YouTube, and it's never got me anywhere. I even try to submit some of my stuff to some film fests, and I just get it handed back to me. So, hey, if you can check that out, again, it's on Beneath the Underground on Facebook. And look for a film. It's actually right on the webpage on Facebook, if you have a Facebook account, of the film AGONi, and Ryan could direct you from there where to go. So anyway, I just wanted to do that real quick for him. I am going to go back because I had a few things. Going to keep this short and sassy. I'm got to go to work tomorrow. Anyway. Yeah, it's kind of interesting. I'm just going to glance over some stuff. They're still posting some stuff. This was on Screen Rant. Batman versus Superman, new villain, hero, and plot details rumor. Basically, the film is under wraps, so everything was finished with the film. So now they're talking about potential villains. I think one was actually Doomsday, which that would be really interesting. I would like to see that myself. See Doomsday in the film. It would be something different. Actually, there's a couple different ones that I had read tonight. Different articles. This is more on the superhero side. That sounded really interesting. But go to ScreenRant.com and check it out, because it's a pretty interesting article. I'm not going to try to screw it up, and I'm going to try to keep the story kind of short, and the show kind of short and sweet tonight. It's a given that it's going to have Superman, Wonder Woman, Aquaman, Batman, obviously. But yeah, you want to know about the villains. But yeah, there was a couple other things I wanted to kind of touch upon, and I want to keep it pretty short and sassy tonight. Oh, by the way, yeah, another thing. I think of the guest I had on the other night was mentioned about the remake, which I wasn't too thrilled with myself of the Fantastic Four, so I don't really want to acknowledge that too much. I'm kind of already disappointed how they're changing the characters around just to make it kind of politically correct. Yeah, another really good article was from Moviezeum. That is the name of their website. It's called moviezeum.com. And the article is titled Top 10 Future Marvel Films. So I'm not going to read the stuff. You can find this on your own or just write me if you need a link if you are listening. It said they're making, the first one, number one, was third Wolverine spinoff. So I missed the last one. I actually kind of half watched it. I downloaded it and didn't bother to watch it. Second one is X-Men Apocalypse. I said that wrong, so I'm sorry. But yeah, I thought that movie was already out because the way they promoted it so much. I didn't realize it wasn't released yet, I don't believe. No, it hasn't been. Third one is X-Force, which shows Wolverine. That's the only one I can recognize. The celebrated X-Men of Shoot Comic X-Force is being brought to screen by Kick-Ass 2 writer-director Jeff Wadlow. So, yeah, that's pretty interesting. Now, this is the one I'm actually been waiting for years, and that's number 4 was Deadpool. So, finally, Ryan Reynolds is going to get his chance to do that. And, of course, the Fantastic Four reboot, which I really don't want to acknowledge. Next one, which I heard about for a long time. Nobody really wanted to hear about it until it came out, being acknowledged, was number 6 was Ant-Man. That will be coming out soon. The next one, I've heard of him, but I'm not familiar. I assume this is like some type of vigilante, but wait a minute. What am I saying? Yeah, the Venom movie. I think that's been talked about and pushed away and talked about again. But yeah, there definitely looks like Venom is in the loop of movies. That was number 7. And, oh yeah, this sounds pretty interesting. I heard slightly about this, but I'm not really familiar. This is in the universe of Spider-Man. Number 8 was the Sinister Six. Doesn't say much more, and I don't want to go into too much. So it's a very short saying on that one. Next one was The Amazing Spider-Man 3. So, there'd be the Sinister Six in the Spider-Man universe, and then will be the Spider-Man 3 movie. So, sounds pretty cool. The Avengers sequel, that was number 10, actually. Somewhere in my pile of stuff I wanted to talk about. Oh, okay, here's the one I've been waiting for, too. Either going to like it or not, but the Suicide Squad movie. And it looks like it is going to have Harley Quinn, which is going to be Margaret Robbie. It's going to play Harley Quinn. I forget who's playing the Joker, but I'm going to have to look. I have that in my pile of list of movies. But yeah, I've been kind of looking forward, for this to come out. And it looks like it is going to come out. It's the anti-hero movie. It's all the villains, and it's called Suicide Squad. I heard that it was actually on Arrow. I guess they kind of brought that Suicide Squad into there, and I really don't watch Arrow, unfortunately. So because there's just too many things on TV, so I kind of let that one slide. Yeah, here's one I was actually out of the Suicide Squad. Is Jared Leto calls his Joker a beautiful disaster. By the way, if you want to read up on that, that is on ScreenRant.com, and it's a pretty decent length article, nothing too long, but my show is actually already at the 20-minute mark. But yeah, they have an article in there about, a discussion about him, Jarrett, and how his version of the Joker. So I think it's kind of interesting because I thought about that actually. If you think about it, folks, in the past, it got cursed, I guess, the character of the Joker, how it just drives people insane, which honestly was not the truth. If you look at the old Batman series with Adam West, that actor never went crazy, and Jack Nicholson didn't take it home with him. That was just developed after the fact that, the last person who played the character in the Dark Knight series, the actor committed suicide. So now people, it's got a curse behind it or something. It's like, no, that just was, I hate to say it, I mean, I think it was more coincidental than anything. Anyway, what I would recommend, because I'm a big Doctor Who fan, they keep on putting these on every different website. And this one popped up again, and it's about my favorite show, Doctor Who. And it states why Christopher Eccleston left Doctor Who after one season. And he basically, I heard he didn't want to be typecast, but then it was like he was stating that it was a difference in opinion with, the producer and himself. And it's like, well, Stephen Moffat, and that's his name, Stephen Moffat. He was the original producer when they brought the show back. Now, I think Eccleston did an interesting job, not exactly how I would portray Doctor Who, but I did like him a lot because he really acted very alien-like. And the Doctor never was that much of an alien. I mean, he is an alien, but he never acted that much like, treating people like they were, not on his level. I mean, yeah, the Doctor can be arrogant, but he just made it very, very alien and maybe too much for my liking. But I mean, personally, I loved Christopher Eccleston. I could watch those episodes over and over again. It's just not what I grew up with when I used to watch Doctor Who as a kid. So that was my only gripe. Hey, by the way, there was something, and I might let it go at this because I want to keep it under half an hour if at all possible, so I don't have to downgrade my quality of my audio. You got to check this out. It's on, well, just look it up on YouTube. It's called American Reflex. Not like, and I thought I looked at it. I thought it was from Ryan's webpage, I think, or actually where he has his movie posted. I think I found it on there. Anyway, to make a long story short, which I haven't already, American Reflex is a very interesting thing. It's this girl, she try to make herself look sexy but undeterminable. That's not even a word. But that you couldn't figure out, is this a guy in drag or is this a woman? Because she was a little bit on the flat side. Sorry. Okay. Sorry about that. It started up the video. I'm just trying to get some stuff. Anyway, it's a short film. It's like 15 minutes. It's on YouTube. It's definitely gone viral almost. Not quite. But this poor girl is like walking. It's going to start up again, so I apologize. She's walking on the street with a mask on. It's a mirror-reflected mask. You can't see if it's a guy or a girl because she makes sure to cover her throat as well. And she's just walking the street for an hour. They only show 15 minutes of what happened. It was published on April 7th. And this poor girl is getting like, mistreated by like people in the street. Like they come up to her and just torture this poor girl, in my opinion. So I felt my heart went out for her, but it's almost like what I talked about the other night, how people are very cruel. Well, that was the whole point of this. Like this poor girl, she dressed very sexy, and it was for a reason, but she was basically trying to entertain the people in the street. Now, this was down Myrtle Beach in South Carolina, by the way. Director Ally Coates, I think it is. Coates. But it's an intriguing video or short film. It is a bit redundant, but it does show and represent what people really are like. So I highly recommend that. You have to watch that, is what I have to say. I actually almost want to leave it off at that because, again, I'm at 25 minutes. I glossed over that. Another interesting article. Thank you, Todd, for this one. This one was on WPMT Fox 43. Short little story. It happened in Los Angeles. This was kind of weird, too. Evil twin removed from woman's brain, complete with bone, hair, and teeth. Yes, this woman had a twin that never developed, and it got absorbed into her brain. Well, it was like a tumor in her brain, but it was actually her twin. So they had to remove it because it was actually obviously causing complications, but the twin was there for years. So, you know what? I'll leave it off at that. There's some other interests. Oh, wait. No, I got to say this. I'm going to kind of try to make this quick. You got to check this out. Funny article. Thank you, Todd, again. It was on the Huffington Post Weird News, and it's titled, China Cracks Down on Funeral Strippers. Beijing, Chinese officials are launching a campaign to crack down on striptease and other lewd shows that have become popular at funerals in some rural areas. So, yeah, you can find that article. I'm going to leave it go at that. I think it was hilarious. There is a video attached to it, too. If you check out my webpage, I got some pretty funny stuff on there, too. So I'm going to leave it go at that for tonight because I'm trying to keep it under the half-hour mark, and I'm getting very close to not doing that. So, folks, hope you enjoyed the show. I'm keeping it lighthearted tonight because I got pretty intense last night. And everyone, have a good Friday morning.